Hi again, everyone. So, you have seen a lot of people around the world. I now wanted to contact one of my favorite people in the entire world, Silvia Ebner. She is a published author and a full time school teacher in Lienz, Austria. She happens to be my partner's cousin, which is how I know her. And the first time I met her, I cried afterwards because she's such an incredible human being. Let's check in with Silvia and see how things are going in Austria.
Hi, everybody. I'm Silvia Ebner from Lienz, and Lienz is a really small town in East Tyrol, in Austria, for the ones who wouldn't know. And we are about 40 kilometers away from the Italian border, right in the Dolomites. So, in an absolutely beautiful area.
First of all, Austria looks so beautiful. I miss it.
Well, you should. It is beautiful, and it's about springtime to begin, and life would be so gorgeous if we weren't locked inside our flats and homes at the moment.
So, you just went on a walk, right?
I did. We are allowed a small walk per day, not really a hike, not really sports, but we can go outside, which is good.
Even though the world is in kind of a crazy place, it's still revolving, it's still turning, it's still evolving.
It is actually working. We have been inside our homes and flats and houses now for 10 days, and life goes on. I'm a teacher, so I spend my mornings correcting papers that my students send, and they are doing a fantastic job. They are really, really busy and hardworking. And I can see it with my two daughters that they are actually all missing school. So my girls, 14 and 12 years old, they would much rather be at school, and they really do miss their friends. So we all hope that the situation won't last too long, but being realistic, it will. So we are prepared to have this situation for a couple more weeks, I guess. I am an author. You want to? I've written a book, and I'm also working as a journalist if I find the time to, which right now I can. I love to tell stories. So, in our situation at the moment, I have started telling stories on Facebook, and I've got really nice feedback. So, yesterday, a mother of two asked me if I could tell her stories in the evening because she's too tired to hold a book. And so she gave me her telephone number, and what I'm doing today is I'm going to tell her a story or read a story to her on her WhatsApp voice box. I'm doing the same thing with my little nephew of 4 years. I'm telling him like stories that continue. It's about a little witch called Hulewule. And every night before he goes to sleep at 7, I'm telling him the next episode. So what I do see now is that people start reading books again. They love to listen to stories. They appreciate if somebody puts something online. When I put my first story online, one feedback was, wow, these were like 7.58 useful minutes in a long, long day. And so it shows that it's quite hard to be inside all the time, not being able to go to work, and having to spend the whole day, on your own sometimes.
I happen to know you're an incredible storyteller. And that's something that people aren't thinking about right now. Telling stories right now is a way to escape your home for a bit, even if just in your mind.
Yeah, so on my Facebook, there are already 2 stories, and maybe the idea is spreading a bit. So whoever feels like, feels like telling stories, maybe do it because others might appreciate it.
There's so many artists right now who are banding together with the technology that we currently have to do free concerts, like from a specific location out to the world. And it's just so beautiful to see human beings truly just working together to make sure that no one feels alone. And I think that that's something that people should definitely be thinking about.
People get closer to each other, even if they are separated from each other. Very bizarre situation, but it is the case, yeah.
What is the level of quarantine where you are in Lienz?
Right now, the quarantine level in my area, in the Tyrol, is severe. We are not allowed to leave our town, our village, except for really, really urgent needs, like going to a doctor if there is no doctor in your village. But basically, we are really locked inside our houses, our towns, and our villages. So if your partner lives 40 kilometers away, you are not allowed to see him. If you are separated from your husband and both of you are taking care of your kids, you are allowed to take the kids to your partner. But if you just have a partner somewhere, it's not enough to miss him desperately and to want to see him. So, no, you are not allowed to. When COVID-19 started to spread, I thought that it was out of proportion regarding the media coverage, or out of proportion regarding the worries. Because for me, the numbers didn't speak for such a huge amount of hysteria. And comparing the numbers to the numbers of people dying from hunger, from AIDS, from malaria, even from the people drowning in the Mediterranean seas in these last years. Nothing really spoke for this kind of anxiety and fear and hysteria. And so I was really wondering what was behind all that. Why would all of a sudden something that resembled a bit the flu, that apparently was only really a risk for elderly people and people suffering from severe diseases anyway, would make everybody so incredibly worried that things were all of a sudden possible that nobody would ever have thought possible to be possible, like government shutting down the economy and politics turning entirely around this only topic. So I was just very much surprised, really. I still am. I still am.
What do you think caused, like from your opinion, this mass hysteria that is surrounding this specific disease?
I do understand all the worries about our hospitals getting too many patients, because obviously our hospitals are already full. Let's say with people suffering from normal diseases, and they would not have the beds, the doctors, the medical resources for hundreds or even thousands of more patients. So I can understand that. And I can also understand that nobody wants a virus in a hospital, because people there are so fragile already. So a virus inside a hospital contaminating all these patients is obviously a huge, huge risk. So I can understand that. I can still not entirely understand why the measures are so dramatic. Because obviously protecting our elderly, obviously protecting people suffering from diseases makes total sense. Locking everybody away and not, trusting their common sense to stay away from each other, to keep the distance. Yeah, well, that's really dramatic, and we will have to see if it's really necessary. Hopefully, we will find out that it's not, because if it is, then then our world is really facing something so huge that the outcomes, are still to be seen.
What would you say is the most important way that COVID-19 has affected you personally?
Well, personally, this coronavirus has made us all, and not just me, think a lot more about our present and future situation. So obviously the positive aspects so far, that nature gets a break and seems to recover more quickly than we could ever have dreamt, with normal measures. That makes us all realize how important that was. I also see that we all realize that we can live without shops at the moment, so we do not need all the shops open. I am worried. I'm definitely worried about people losing their jobs and businesses losing their clients and therefore going bankrupt. I'm worried about the financial crisis that will affect hundreds of thousands or millions of people. But at the same moment, we are all reconsidering globalization. We are all reconsidering how valuable our local infrastructure is and how much we depend on it. So there are downsides, but there are also positive aspects of this coronavirus situation. And this is what we are all reflecting at the moment. Even my daughters, even kids, even, people who would never have done it before, because we took everything for granted, and now nothing is granted. Yeah, I'm also quite worried about people being left alone a bit in their homes at the moment with a situation we are normally not used to deal with. So I'm quite worried about aggression, about fights, about drug abuse and alcoholism and severe personal problems, all locked away in flats and homes, and people not being able to get away from it. Being a teacher, I am always worried about kids that might not be treated well. And a lot of kids actually do need some space outside of their homes because home is not safe for them. So a lot of kids need their schools and their kindergarten, or even just other people taking care of them when their parents are sometimes just too stressed to do it well. So I am worried about people being left alone with personal problems, and hopefully, the politics will take care of that and will provide help in case people need it, and I'm sure they do.
A lot of people are forgetting about the mental side of this, and mental health and mental care. And there's a lot of people who here in America, we're actually not calling it lockdown. We're calling it shelter in place, because America is very aware of branding and the way that you say things, and that verbiage matters. And so, especially here in California, shelter in place is the term that they have taken. I think that it's a beautiful term. However, not everyone truly has a shelter. I mean, there are people across the globe, and child abuse is a huge issue that I've personally been affected by in a very major way. And so just knowing that there are, possibly kids in your family that have it a little tough. I really hope that people are reaching out to those kids and teenagers and checking on them. This is probably the first time in our lifetimes that we've been prescribed family time. And as a global environment, everyone is staying at home pretty much. That's, being within the non-essential sectors and has the ability to. They're all staying home. And, I think that family dynamic is something that is not universal. Not every single person has the same family dynamic. And I truly, truly hope that, we all take the time to remember that we are distancing together and we should check in on those people.
When we are so busy with our jobs and our daily routines, we do not really very often take the time to care and to really work on ourselves. And now we are forced to. So we are forced to really confront and face all our emotions, whether they are fear, anxiety, frustration, anger, aggression. And, we really have to learn to deal with it. And I'm just afraid that too many people are not used to it. So all of a sudden they are forced to it. And hopefully, a lot of them will learn to deal with it in a good way. Because I do believe that every crisis makes us grow. And I do believe that it is a huge chance, but we have to work on it. We have to take it seriously, and we have to really give our best, to make this situation work and profit from it. And it's demanding. Have we ever faced something like that? Economies are closing down worldwide. I mean, looking at these empty streets in LA, in Moscow, in Islamabad, wherever, all over the world, and the impact this will have on our economy, I mean, is unimaginable for me. And the economic crisis will definitely hit all the small people out there. So my worries are against for those who are so vulnerable, and I really, really hope that all the governments worldwide see that, because it cannot be a survival of the fittest. I mean, if that is the case, we are really not proving to have evolved very far, because we are only as strong as our weakest, member. And if we do not take care of them, we can be proud. We cannot be proud of ourselves and how far we have got. There is a huge amount of solidarity at the moment, but there's always a but. Solidarity, is no real solidarity if it's only solidarity with your own family and your friends and your local people. So hopefully this solidarity spreads and reaches refugees in Greece and reaches homeless people in the streets of all these big cities, and reaches all the vulnerable people out there in the world. And if it does, then this crisis have been there for something very, very good.
Can you say something in German to your local population, and then at some point in time I'm probably going to actually get you to translate all of the, like, this whole interview in German. Or I'll have Alex do it. We'll figure it out. But yeah, so say something if you can, to all of the people in Austria, and then you can go into German.
Um dieses Interview jetzt auf Deutsch zu beenden, ich glaube, dass die Corona-Krise wirklich eine Chance sein kann, aber wir müssen etwas dafür tun. Also wir müssen diese Chance sehr ernst nehmen und in unseren Familien darauf achten, dass wir mit unseren Emotionen wie Frust und Aggression und Angst und so weiter gut umgehen lernen, um einfach auf unsere Nächsten zu schauen und um dann unsere Solidarität auszuweiten auf all jene, die nicht nur in unserer kleinen Umgebung bei uns sind, sondern die es noch viel mehr brauchen dort draußen, die in Flüchtlingslagern unsere Solidarität brauchen, die in den Straßen großer Städte, in Gebieten völliger Armut diese Solidarität brauchen. Yeah, so I just said that I really hope that our solidarity reaches all the people out there and not just our beloved ones. But in order to be able to do that, we really have to strengthen ourselves and work with our emotions in our tiny little microcosm so that once this is stable, we can reach out to all the others. And yeah, the chance is there, so let's just take it, really.
I just wanted to say thank you so much, Silvia, for taking the time to come on here and chat with me. The fact that we have this technology is incredible. I really, really appreciate you.
Thanks so much for getting in touch. I appreciate that, and I appreciate what you're doing, because it's again some way of connecting people, and that's all we can do at the moment. And it's fantastic that it works. So thanks to coronavirus, I'm talking to you at the moment and talking to all these people who might see it. And so there is always something good in all the bad. And yeah, miss you and hopefully speak to you soon again.
No, I know. I can't. I was supposed to be there in May, and now I don't know if we'll be back yet. So, but I'm sending you love from my humble home in LA, which hopefully you'll be coming to see soon too.
I will. I definitely will once we are allowed to travel again. And that's also good. We are so looking forward to all these things that have been so normal for us. I'm so looking forward to meeting friends and having a coffee with them and hugging them. And, yeah, going out there and kissing again. The ones I love and can't be with at the moment, traveling again or going just out for dinner. Everything we have taken for granted has fallen away at the moment. And we do definitely appreciate it so much more. And we do appreciate so many people now, the ones cleaning the streets, the ones working in the hospitals, the ones are still there in all our grocery shops, being so friendly every time I go in there. So I think we really learned to appreciate people and things that we took for granted a lot more, and that's also beautiful. So I will appreciate it so much to see you again, to visit you again, and to hug you again. But really, we have to finish, because otherwise we will be talking forever.
I know. so just say bye, and then I'll stop recording.
It's now really a final goodbye from Austria. It's getting dark. Can you see it?